Welcome to the Talking Sports Podcast. I am your host, JD. I got Jeremiah with me, and as you can see, we have a special guest today. Adam, go ahead and introduce yourself and welcome to the Talking Sports Podcast, my guy.
My name is Adam Buckner. Just glad to be a part of this podcast. I'm excited to talk about sports and tennis and some Dallas Mavericks. So, yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being willing to hop on with us
Mhm.
to talk about, Dallas Mavericks. We're going to get into last night's huge game 2 win against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We're also going to be talking about the French Open, and this is going to be the first time that we've talked about tennis on this channel. So we are very excited to have you on. But yeah, let's get into it. Last night, the Dallas Mavericks defeat the Minnesota Timberwolves in a nail biter with
Yeah.
Luka Doncic hitting the game-winning three to send the Timberwolves 0-2
Yep.
at home. Let's break that game down.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think from watching it as a Mavs fan, seeing us be down by like 18 before half, I was like, all right, man, this is gonna be 1-1. Hopefully we can get two at home. But I think compared to the team 2 years ago that made it to the Western Conference Finals, I think this team is just a lot more resilient. I think Kyrie just adds another just leadership aspect to the team in addition to Luca. And so us going down 18, I never really felt like, maybe this is out of reach. I think there's always a chance. And so definitely going into the second quarter or the second half, third quarter, that's when we started to turn it up. And I'm like, all right, here we go. When we got it within 10, I was like, yeah, that can change within a few minutes. So I think Luca and Kyrie is just again, like Kyrie didn't have a huge game, but closing wise, he's so clinical in the fourth quarter and he knows how to get it done. And then obviously Luca is just he's gonna be Luca. He's gonna get his triple double and he's gonna hit the big shots. So it's that was definitely a huge win. And I think we're definitely going to win at least one at home. So and that hopefully will get us through to the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. We talked about it a few days ago, and Kyrie and Luca, man, are special. They're a very
Yeah.
special duo, um, and they've proven that in the series against OKC and before.
Mhm.
I think watching this game, I was like you. I was like, man, I definitely thought the Timberwolves had the game. I was
Yeah.
like, they'll probably come back and make it closer, but I think the Timberwolves got it. And we just see Luca put the team on his back, literally. And when he went out for a few minutes, Kyrie carried. Um, so this is another, I think, missed opportunity for the Timberwolves. Um,
Okay.
both scenarios, I mean, they could be up 2-0 right now, I feel
Mhm.
like.
Yeah.
So a defensive breakdown towards the end of the game, turnover late game, I feel like really sealed this one. And I mean, the entire world knew what was going to happen when the Gobert switch was on Luca, and he
Yeah,
proved us.
and
Yeah.
absolutely. So let's talk about that because that's what I was going to bring up. In that moment, we know Luka Doncic or Kyrie, one of the two is going to take that game winning shot.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And so you can't switch there. And I said that on Twitter. You absolutely cannot
no,
switch in that moment because Gobert is, while he is a 4-time defensive player of the year, and whether you believe he should have four or not, he is. And so uh, he's not a great defender in space.
Yeah.
no,
He doesn't have great footwork. He's not athletic at all. He's tall and big, but that's about it. And we saw Luca was doing his thing crossing him over, and if there was one more move, he was gonna fall. If he didn't step back, if he did anything else, he was gonna fall. But you absolutely cannot switch there. Jaden McDaniels, you have to fight through the screen. Double, you have to do something else. Switch is not an option. So my question is, do y'all think Gobert should have even been on the floor in that last second opportunity?
That's exactly what I was about to say. The answer is no.
Yeah.
We know he had foul trouble, and you want to put him back in the drive before because he was maybe able to block a shot, get an offensive rebound, whatever the case may be. After that, on that final possession, he has to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you have to, I mean, in that moment, you're not necessarily you are trying to get a stop, but you need more athletic defenders out there.
Yeah.
You got two bigs who can get rebounds, but they're Nas Reed and Cat, they're better out in space. They're better on the perimeter as defenders. So you still have the option to take him out. You still can get a rebound. You still can get a stop. I don't understand the coaching aspect late in that game situation.
Mhm. Yeah. And I know that well, go ahead, Trevor.
No, you're good. You're good.
I know that Cat wasn't on the floor because I know the commentators were mentioning how Nas Reed was playing so well. Like he was what 7 of 8 from three, or six of 6 of 7.
Yeah, yeah, he hit
And I know that's
seven.
why, yeah, he wasn't on the floor for that. But I think maybe at that point you do decide to put Cat back in. But I don't think that would have made that much of a difference if Cat got switched on to Luka, because I still think Luka would have found a way to either get by or hit that shot. So it's
Yeah,
definitely I'm not quite sure what they should have done, but it's definitely a difficult position for them to be in, especially coaching wise. I think so.
For sure.
absolutely.
For sure. I was just gonna add, I think Luka, he might hit the shot regardless of who is on him. But I think even Kyle Anderson offers you more defensively because he played a lot of minutes down late in that stretch, and
Yeah.
he wasn't offering you much on offense, but defensively, I mean, he was good. He can switch 1 through 3. He's long, tall, so maybe he offers you something better than Gobert. I just think it has to be anybody but Gobert in that situation. So, like I say, the Mavericks are proving why they want to be in the NBA Finals, and I feel like I'm not gonna say it's over. I still feel like it's gonna go 7. I think the Timberwolves play better on the road for some reason. I think this is still gonna be a fight, but I think the Mavericks are gonna pull this one for sure.
And let's look at some stats here. Luka Doncic 5 for 11 from three. Kyrie 4 for 7 from three. Jaden Hardy 2 for 3.
Mm.
Josh Green 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Two of those players were in the game. The other two, Josh Green and Jaden Hardy, were not. So
Mm.
that means Derrick Jones Jr. 0 for 3 from three. PJ Washington 0 for 4 from three.
Yeah.
And everybody else wasn't there. They weren't in the game, or you had bigs. So you have to get the ball out of Luka's hands. Like as a defense, anybody but him. Those other guys hadn't hit anything all game.
Yeah.
Like they did not play. Those other guys didn't play well, and so as a Minnesota team, you have to think about those things in the huddle when you got those timeouts, and they have guys for this, mind
Yeah.
you. They have guys on the bench that keep stats. PJ is 0 for 4 from three. He needs to be shooting. So I mean, you gotta double in that situation. You got to get the ball out of Luka's hands, and I think that that's the game plan moving forward. You have to take away Luka, especially in those late game situations.
Yeah.
Anybody but him or Kyrie. Everybody else, if they beat you, they beat you, but you can't let Luka beat you.
And that's what I say. I feel like in that situation, double Luca Luca had 5, 6 seconds to cross up Gobert, bro. Send someone. Like, I
Right.
don't know why you just leave Gobert on an island and expect him to do something against Luca right there. Like, no,
Yeah.
send someone at him.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they needed a three. They needed a three to win.
Right.
So
Exactly.
even if you give up a two, at least
That's
I mean,
overtime.
send it into
Like
overtime. Yeah,
Yeah.
still a chance.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, I'm rooting for the Mavericks in this series. I picked them to win in seven. So I mean, I'm not mad. I'm just those things. Some things are obvious as a basketball fan. Some things are obvious. Some things you should know. Like we're not coaches by any means.
Yeah.
I played basketball in middle school. I still play occasionally, just to be active. But I'm no, coach or GM or anything like that, but some things are just obvious. But anyway, it's a great series, and the Boston Celtics and Indiana Pacers are playing tonight. Just to
Yeah.
give you guys an update on that, Tyrese Halliburton is unlikely to play with his hamstring injury, so it's
They
not
listed him as
looking.
out, right?
The last
Yeah, I think
last
he's
time I
out.
He's out. So a tough blow for Indiana. They're at home, so we'll see if they can get some help from their role players. But let us know down in the comment section what you guys think about the Dallas Mavericks and that crazy shot by Luca. Who's going to be advancing to the NBA Finals? Both series are 2-0 right now, switching to Dallas and Indiana. So, so yeah, let us know down in the comment section what you guys think about those series. So, moving on, transitioning to our tennis topics. So, Adam, again, thank you so much for being on with us.
Absolutely.
It's definitely a pleasure. So, you are a tennis player, am I right?
Yes, sir, I am.
So, how long have you been playing tennis?
I've been playing tennis since about, I would want to say 7, 8 years old.
Huh?
Definitely my first introduction to tennis was my dad over the summer trying to get me out of the house, get active in the neighborhood. Our local courts had like a tennis clinic, and my dad was friends with one of the people putting on the clinics, and he kind of, let me go there, and I participated in the clinic, and I fell in love with it ever since then. And the coaches have really poured into me. One coach in particular, my high school coach. His name's Coach Jamie, and known him for a very long time. And ever since that day, kind of stuck with tennis and um, played a lot of other sports. Played basketball, football for a little bit, but tennis was always the one for that I succeeded in the most, and the one that I had the most passion for. So yeah. Mhm.
That's excellent. I've never played tennis like for school or anything like that, but tennis has always been a very fun sport.
Yeah.
Just watching it on TV, watching all the tournaments and seeing all those players. So it's cool to know somebody who like actually plays it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Who's your favorite tennis player? It could be historical or a guy that's playing right now.
Yeah. So I think a guy that's playing right now, Francis Tiafoe, he's gonna be he's taken the spot for me for my favorite tennis player. I think a while before he made it big, it was Gael Monfils,
Yeah.
playing out of France. But Francis Tiafoe, I think I just love the energy he brings. It's definitely non-traditional to like your traditional tennis, like classy, and not saying he's not classy, but it's
Yeah,
kind of he brings a different energy, and I love the way he plays. And like, but the only thing about him is like one day he can be amazing and play with the best of the best, and then the other days he's not on that level. So it's definitely um, you can get either side. You don't know what you're gonna get, but I love him. Just
yeah.
he's a big personality. Definitely refreshing to the sport of tennis, which can personalities can get kind of stale sometimes. Everyone's kind of the same, like a robot, but he's just not afraid to be himself, and that's why he's my favorite player right now.
Yeah, yeah. He's an excellent player, and
Mhm.
I do think that he can be inconsistent at times,
Yeah.
but I feel like that is it kind of contributes to like his youth. He's still young,
Yeah.
and I think as he continues to grow, he'll maintain that consistency. He's definitely brought a level of competitiveness from the American side that we've
Yeah.
needed for a very, very long time. He's strong. He's fast. He has a
Yeah.
great serve.
Mhm.
So I think he's a great addition to American tennis. And if anybody can compete with the Sinners and the Medvedevs and those young guys, he's definitely up there with
Yeah.
the young tennis players that can make it and advance and possibly finally get a tournament championship for the American side.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeremiah, let our community know who your favorite tennis player is.
Yes. So my favorite tennis player, and has been for a while, is Roger Federer. Unfortunately, he's retired now, but his legacy speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Um, the most classy tennis player ever, and he always looked the best while beating everybody. So Federer is my favorite player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Federer is the essence of elegance. He's the most
Yes.
elegant tennis player. That one hand backhand is it's beautiful. You watch it in slow motion. It's his
Yeah.
footwork is it's amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he honestly, if we're being real, he's the classiest, but he's probably the most ruthless on the court. Like
Yeah.
he he
It's
will
true.
destroy you. Like he
Yeah.
destroyed people, and
Yeah.
while doing it classy, elegantly, but he'll bagel you in a minute.
Yeah.
And so we got a um Tiafo, we got Federer. My favorite player is Nadal. I have so many tennis players that I like. I like Nadal and I like Andy Murray. I still remember that game. I think it was, and I should have looked it up beforehand, but I think it might have been against Federer
Mhm.
in Wimbledon, where that match went for so long,
Yeah.
and he
Federer and Nadal. 28 Wimbledon final or 2008 Wimbledon final. Yeah.
Murray,
Oh, well, Murray and Federer.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. That one game that lasted. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That was
and
like 10, 15 minutes.
Murray, he ran like off the court and hit like
Yeah,
a backhand winner, and he got the crowd hyped. Like that moment for me,
yeah,
like solidified him as like one of my favorite players. So and the dog, he's just a great player. So let's talk about this. We know that Djokovic is amazing, Federer amazing, Nadal amazing. So in y'all's opinion, who is the GOAT of tennis? Because there are so many championships between those three players.
Yep.
They've dominated, basically 20 years of tennis. So who's the GOAT of tennis in your opinion?
I think for me, it's gonna have to be Djokovic. I think, and purely off of just he's won the most slams, and he has a better head-to-head against Nadal and Federer. So is he may not be like the most like flashy or the most memorable, but I think he's a killer, and he is definitely just the his mentality, apart from maybe Rafa, but his mentality is so good, and he's able to visualize success, and he's just able to get it out, get it done, like on so many slams. Like he's just able to win when you
Yeah,
don't think he's going to win, and so I think just pure, he's won the most slams. He's won so many matches, a decorated career. I think I'm gonna have to give it to Djokovic just barely.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think it's Novak Djokovic, and you mentioned Adam the head to head with Federer and Nadal. it was really the perfect time for Novak to burst on the scene because when he did, Federer and Nadal were still in their prime, but they were slowly exiting out. And when Novak was coming in, he was. I mean, it just seemed like he could run for forever. And he's 37 now. He's got, I think, 20, 25, 20 something slams. And, he might be out of his prime now, but he's still incredible. So, I think his longevity, his slams, what he's done against the other possible GOATs, I think it's probably Novak.
Yeah, and the fact that he was able to win as many French Opens as he did, when Nadal, that was supposed to be his surface, and he's ruled Australia like
Yeah.
that's just this past year he lost, but years before that was his surface, and his tournament. But yeah, like you said, 37, he's still number one in the world right now, and we'll see what he does in the French starting tomorrow. So with that transition, let's talk about the French Open starting tomorrow. This is the second slam of the year. So when we've looked at the draw, it's a very interesting draw. What are some of the matchups that we're looking forward to seeing so far?
Yeah, I would say for me, definitely first round, Nadal and Zverev. I think that's going to be a huge first round. Um, Obviously Nadal, like this is his tournament, but I think now a lot of players are not. I don't think Nadal has that same fear factor as he has in the past, just because this past season he's been riddled with injuries and he's had to
Yeah.
pull out of a lot of tournaments. And in addition to that, he's lost some on play, which is very rare to see. But I think people are seeing now that Nadal is beatable on clay, and this is his most vulnerable I think he's been in a very, very long time. And so Zverev, I mean, Zverev is so good. He's such a solid player, and I think especially Nadal getting up there in age and this being on clay. I know this is best service, but I think the body is definitely going to take a hit during this match, and I think Zverev is probably going to. I think he can get it done in maybe 4 sets. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair.
Go ahead, Jay.
So the matchup that I'm really looking forward to, that one for sure.
Yeah.
But it's the and I'm just looking at the draw here. Um it's the Andy Murray versus Stan Wawrinka. We got two older veterans. Um
Old veterans.
yeah. And Andy Murray is one of my favorite tennis players. And so that one for sure. But I like Chris Eubanks against Sinner, and Sinner's number two. He won the Australian Open. Um, a lot of the Americans have a great draw. If they can, advance out of the first round, then I can see them getting to the quarterfinals and maybe even the semis. But I like Chris Eubanks' game. He did a lot in the Australian Open. He's young, 28 years old, turned pro 2017. And so that could potentially be an upset.
Mhm.
Chris has a great serve. He's 6'7". So if he can keep those rallies short against center and win on his serve, then we may have a potential upset on our hands, even though center has been playing some incredible tennis. So
Yeah.
that's the one matchup that I like and I'm looking forward to watching for sure.
Mhm.
Definitely. I'll give an honorable mention to TFO and Bellucci. I think that'll be a interesting one to watch as well. But my main one was Sinner as well versus Eubanks. I think honestly, we'll get into who I want to win, and who I think is going to win. But I think center has a really good chance to win this.
Yeah.
And this first game is going to be interesting though, because I think it'll be a test for him. He's had a
Yeah,
little bit of a hip injury, so we'll kind of see how he's able to handle that. I think health is going to be a big factor in this Open with who's going to win. So I think a lot of good first games for sure.
absolutely. So who do y'all see, pulling this one out? It's gonna be grueling. Weather is always a factor. And so, who's gonna stay the healthiest? Who's gonna upset who? Who's gonna come out and have a bad night? With these guys being so young, you potentially could see some upsets. Yannick Sinner is only 22 years old, and I did not realize how young he was. But for him to be, just 22, number two in the world, he's 28-2 this year, y'all. Like three singles titles. He's been on a tear.
Yeah.
Um, he's definitely a front runner to win this whole thing.
Hmm. Yeah. I think for me, it's gonna be who I think is gonna have the best chances winning will be maybe Carlos Alcaraz. I think this might be like a passing of the torch moment from Nadal to Carlos, the two Spaniards. And while he hasn't had the best 2024 so far, I think his game and his physicality, just how fit he is and how like he plays such a bruising brand of tennis. Like he'll beat his opponents down just forehand after forehand, and it's so hard to win a point against him, especially on clay, which is going to be a much slower surface. The ball doesn't bounce as fast. So I think
Right.
Carlos, like physically, is one of the strongest players right out there right now, and I think
Mhm.
he's definitely gonna have that hunger to win, and I think he's gonna have a really good chance to win it all.
Yeah, Alcaraz is my second pick to
Mhm.
win it. My first one is Sinner. He's
Yeah.
had he's been the best tennis player in the past 6 to 8 months, no doubt about it.
Yes.
So I think he has all the confidence. And honestly, I think if you look at the sharpness and health of everyone else, kind of favors him. Um, Now his draw isn't gonna be the easiest, but
No, it's not.
yeah, but I still think, I think he's gonna be the favorite for me. I think Novak is he's gonna leave it probably a little bit too late. And I know he won French Open last year and he'll be looking to defend it, but I just don't know how much his body, how much his mental is going to play a factor in this.
Yeah.
So I got Sinner.
Oh, so I don't know. This is tough. Anybody could really win this, man. Like, um, yeah, Djokovic's draw is not. He has Herbert in the first round. That's not an easy matchup.
Mhm.
Herbert is, he's been around for quite a while. He's seasoned. He could potentially Djokovic could potentially face Monfils in the third round. That's never easy,
Mhm.
especially if Monfils healthy and on a roll. Um, Musetti, the Italian, but I like the Americans draw. So I'm gonna give an upset. I want to say Taylor Fritz is uh, going to take this one in a long shot, but I just think I just think I like Taylor Fritz. I like his draw. I think he could easily get to fourth round, quarterfinal, semis, and see some magic. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with an American. It hasn't happened in a very long time. But I got Taylor Fritz taking it.
I also think Ben Shelton has a good chance to make a deep run. I think he just won a tournament recently on clay against TFO in the final. Though it was like a smaller one, I think he's definitely gaining that confidence on the surface. And I mean, a big serve is useful anywhere. And I definitely think he has that power. And he's definitely in the prime of his in terms of physicality. So I think he has a good chance to make it to upset some players and make it pretty far.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, the Americans have a great draw, and I think
Mhm.
just where their ranking is set, they're all like in the teens. So like,
Yeah.
Ben Shelton is 15, Taylor Fritz is 12, Tiafo is 25, which is a little bit higher, but that's still pretty good. But the thing is, you can't count out any of these guys. Like Tsitsipas is sitting at 9. And his draw is just like his draw is incredible. Like he could go far, but I think either Alcaraz or Taylor Fritz. So those are going to be my two guys. Um, yeah, yeah. This is gonna be fun. I'm excited to watch it for sure. So Adam, let me ask you, you're talking about tennis and talking about styles. What is your style of play when it comes to tennis in the game?
Yeah. I think for me, the longest time I was like I loved my forehand. That was what I wanted to set up for most of the part or for the most time. I love attacking with my forehand, getting the short balls, and I didn't really come to the net much. I'm a pure baseliner, I would say.
Got it.
I'm definitely improving the volleying aspect of my game though, but I'd still say right now I'm a baseliner. I like to grind points out from the baseline. I'm definitely haven't been as aggressive recently. I've been working on just staying consistent and getting a lot of net clearance. And I think that's where my game is trending right now. Just staying more like a Novak who can fight in the back and hit some good strokes and stay more consistent. I think consistency is a big part of my game right now. And so I'm always looking for that put away forehand, but I think my backhand is definitely improving and I'm definitely more comfortable on the baseline right now. So I'd say I'm a baseline for sure.
Excellent. So you mentioned Novak. Is he the guy that you kind of pattern your game after, or is there someone else?
I think for me, the longest time it was Gilmore Feast. I saw Gilmore
Okay.
Feast and I was like, I want to be like him. Like I want to pattern my game like explosive forehands, jumping like super high overhead, stuff like that. So I definitely initially patterned my game off of him. And then I think as I grew better as a player and a little more mature, I think I kind of started trending more towards Novak and his like just defense. He's so good at defense and staying in the
Yeah.
point and like
Yeah.
resetting, like when you're in trouble, being able to reset, give a high topspin ball to reset the point so you're back in the point. So it's definitely where I'm trending right
Excellent. So that means you're doing a lot of those trick shots, right? Like through the
now.
legs, behind the back, like because
Yeah, I
Gilmore, he can get
yeah.
crazy.
He
He
can
can
get
get
crazy. He
crazy.
definitely inspired me to hit tweeners. I didn't know how to hit tweeners for the longest time, but watching him, I remember one day I just went out and I was just tossing balls in front of me so I can chase down and hit it between the legs just to figure out how he does it. So I definitely got a lot better at that. I've hit a few in practice, hit some tweener lobs. So I'm definitely working on that. Maybe not as much as the other stuff, but every once in a while I'll spend like 20 minutes just working on shots like
Your coach may not want you to hit those during the
that.
match,
Yeah.
but definitely in
Yeah.
practice, you try to
Hmm.
get it as much as we can
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
get it out of the way.
Yes, sir.
That is excellent. That's excellent. So we haven't had a chance to watch you play yet, but we're definitely going to be doing that. and you're playing on the college level, so that is excellent. Do you see tennis as something that you could possibly see as a career moving forward?
I think for me, probably I wouldn't say I'm looking to make a career out of it. I know I think tennis players, in order to make it to the professional level, you just have there's so much sacrifice involved, and there's so much like you have to spend like 8 hours a day with the racket in your hand, like 5 days out of the week. So I
Yeah,
don't think I'm ready for that. And I don't think I'm in a position to be able to have that type of commitment. So it's definitely something I thought of maybe when I was a bit younger, but I think the reality kind of came in and I was like, I want to make sure I'm like focusing on my studies. Not saying like you can't be pro and focus on your studies, stuff like that, but I think
right.
my parents definitely instilled that school was first priority and wanted to make sure I got a good education. And I think I kind of put that at the forefront, and tennis kind of took a back seat. But not to say that I didn't want to, but I think I'm content with the level that I'm playing at right now, and um, I think I'll be content.
Well, that's excellent.
Mhm,
Being a student athlete is crucial. We
mhm.
understand the difficulties with it, just balancing everything, life and studies and sports and things like that. So shout out to you for sure. And we, praying for success moving forward as you continue in your college career, and
Yeah,
um, looking forward to watching some matches for sure.
yes, sir.
Uh, so just transitioning, let's move on to the women's side. We have, of course, tennis is men's and women's. So moving on to the women's side, who are the matchups that we're looking at for the women's draw, and who do we want to see take this Roland Garros tournament?
Yeah,
I know who mine is. I want to see
yeah,
Coco. I want to
Yeah.
see Coco take it all. I think she's everybody's favorite right now. Um, but just looking at this draw, we do have some very good matchups for sure.
yeah. I would agree with that. Coco is my favorite. She's my favorite player on the women's side. So definitely, I want her. I think she's been in incredible form lately. So I think she has a great chance. But Iga Swiatek, she's a machine, and
Yeah.
um, I think she's gonna at least be in the final. So it's gonna be difficult. She rarely loses. So I think while I want Coco to win, I think Iga might be the one taking it.
Yeah, the women's draw is always so unpredictable,
Yeah.
especially lately. After a lot of the older players like Serena, Sharapova, like all these tennis greats that we've known for a long time, after they've gotten
Mhm.
a little bit older and retired, things like that. But we're starting to get a new set of tennis greats on the women's side. Coco, Iga, of course. But I did just looking at the draw. Iga has a potential second round matchup against Naomi Osaka. And we
Yeah.
know that she has recently come back into tennis.
Mhm.
And so, if she's up to form, that could be a matchup, that's very interesting. Naomi had a lot of success before she, left for a little while.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, defeated Serena like the last three championships or last three times they faced,
Mhm.
which was exciting and disappointing all at the same time. But that is a potential matchup where Naomi Osaka, unranked player, which is hard to believe, but potential matchup there, could be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting draw. I think it's only going to be three females able to take this. It's going to be Iga, it's going to be Sabalenka, and it's going to be Coco Gauff. And looking at rankings and the how they've been performing recently, man, Coco's still only 20. I mean,
Yeah,
that's incredible. So with her age and experience, um, coming in at 3, she's gonna be definitely a threat. She hasn't won a clay tournament, I think, since 2021, but
Mm.
in recent months, she's probably been playing some of the best tennis out of the 3. So it'll be interesting for sure. Osaka being back is also a cool storyline. I was
Yeah.
looking at the odds, and she's not even in the odds to win it. She's like plus 1,000, maybe plus 1,500, something like that. So um, we'll see what happens with that. It'll be interesting to see,
Yeah.
how she is being back. But yeah, I think I gotta go. I gotta go Coco Golf. I think she's gonna be my pick.
Yeah, I like how you
Yeah.
mentioned Sabalenka. She's definitely a dark horse. She's
Yes.
ranked, she's seated number 2, and her game. She brings the fire. So I definitely think that she will go far, at least quarters. She
Yeah.
does have to play Badosa at some point, and they're great friends, but I don't see her losing to Badosa. And then Sloane Stevens, I think, is also on her side of the draw. So
Yeah.
you might play Sloane. For the viewers that don't know, Sloane played, she had an amazing run, I think in about 2018, 2019, in that area. She won the US
Yeah.
Open.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, but she's been pretty quiet since then. So, but she's still a great player. But I think Sabalenka can make it deep into her draw.
That's true. She's been to 6 straight semifinal appearances. Sabalenka has. So it's, yeah. I mean, I think she's right there with being a favorite, under Iga and Coco. So yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see how the draw plays out, and if any upsets take place. But yeah, I'm ready to watch it.
Yes, sir.
Well, one thing we can definitely count on is, in the on the women's draw, there's going to be a lot of upsets.
Yeah,
For whatever reason, you
always.
know, it just happens all the time, and
Yep.
a lot of people, with it being on the clay, it's not everybody's best surface, and we understand that.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the harder surface, like Australian and U.S. Open, fit a lot more of the players, for
Mhm.
sure. But my dark horse to take this one is going to be Danielle Collins.
Mhm.
She's ranked 11th right now. Um, she has 2 singles titles this year,
Yeah.
32-9. So I feel like she's been playing some incredible tennis, and she has a decent draw. So
Mhm.
she's gonna be my dark horse, but I'm definitely gonna be rooting for Coco,
Yeah.
to take this one. But if not Coco, then let's go Danielle Collins for sure.
Yes, sir. And Daniel Collins, this is her last season on tour. So the one of the reasons why I think she's been playing so well is that she has nothing to lose anymore. She's just playing like with nothing to lose, and she's been playing so well. She's been playing free, and I think that's a big thing about tennis, that all of these players have the ability to like when they're on their day, they can beat anyone. It's just that the better players, they're able to tap into that more often than like your players ranked like 100, and like the number one players, like they can lock into that more often. But these players, they all have the skill sets, and skill wise, like they can make just about any shot. So, and I think Danielle Collins, just knowing that this is her last season on tour, she's just playing with no care in the world, and she's just playing to win.
Yeah, yeah. She's 30, so
Yeah.
she's one of the older players on the draw, but like you said, she's been playing incredible. So yeah, let us know down in the comment section who you guys think is gonna be taking it all in the men's and the women's draw for the French Open. Is it gonna be one of the top 4 guys and girls in the draw? Or is it going to be an upset? Do you see upsets happening? Do you see a dark horse taking it? Let us know down in the comment section. And be watching tennis this coming week and the next weeks as it progresses in the tournament. Starts tomorrow. If you don't have the tennis channel, look it up online, things like that. But I'm definitely going to be watching, and I know we're going to be watching as well. So as we end this episode, are there any final words before we get out of here?
I'm curious. I wonder where you rank the four slams and in terms of your enjoyability.
Ooh, that is a fantastic
Mhm.
question. So for me, ranking it, it's Wimbledon number one.
Yeah.
Just the fanfare, the grass, the you see all of the Brits there watching it. Even a lot of American celebrities, they come out and they watch. And then after that, it's New York at the U.S. Open number two. Just because in America, can watch that one a lot, especially here, being in the US.
Yeah.
Number three is French,
Mm.
and number four is Australian. The only reason I would bump up Australian Open to like two or three, but the hour is just so different.
Yeah.
All of the
It's hard.
matches are in the middle of the
It's
night
hard.
when we're asleep, so it's difficult to
Mm.
really watch that tournament. But I do like the night matches. The night matches, Australian Open, are just incredible. So yeah, that's my order: Wimbledon, U.S. Open, French, and Australian.
I
think.
think,
Oh
or
yeah,
go ahead, Jeremiah. No, you go ahead. Yeah.
I'll say I mine's about the same. I have Wimbledon one. I got French at two, and then I have US at three, and Australian at four. Australian for the same reasons. I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like
Yeah,
I get Novak's probably gonna win it, but I'm not gonna wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. and watch
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's understandable. I think for me, mine's a bit different. I have US at one because I think just the atmosphere at the US Open is just different from all the other slams. I think just the
yeah,
star power, you look in the stands, you have celebrities everywhere, and then just the court, Arthur Ashe Stadium, and like Serena, just like her aura and everything. Like it's just like
yeah,
the aura of the US Open for me is like the most enjoyable because I just love the atmosphere. Number two, I have Wimbledon. Like you said, JD, just the elegance, the all white attire, just like
yeah,
the
yeah,
just it gives off an amazing energy. It just looks so classy. And then Jeremiah's Federer's stomping ground. So
yeah.
like
yeah,
just yeah. So and then I actually have Australian at three because again, similar to the US, I just like the energy they bring. And French is last for me. Not that I don't enjoy it, I definitely love it. But I think Rafa winning like the past 13 years has kind of took took some of the joy out of it for me. Not saying nothing against Rafa, like, but he's just so dominant and
yeah,
you kind of know what you don't know, but you have a good idea of where the match is going to go, how the tournament's going to go. So I think the
yeah,
other three just have a little bit more unpredictability, and so yeah, not to say French is an amazing tournament, yeah, and I think this year will definitely be a little different than the previous years, for sure.
yeah. They all are amazing. They're like I like watching them all. Like I just love
Yeah,
watching tennis, the back and forth. Just one on one.
yeah,
Who's better? Just a battle of wills. It's tennis
mhm,
is just fun. It's just
yeah,
fun overall.
hmm
For sure. And you mentioned Rafa. This may be his last major, so
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to go out on top. Now I know that's going to be a lot easier said than done with the
yeah,
the people he has to play, but still, I feel like he's going to try and go out with a bang and end it on his terms and on his clay. I'm gonna call it his clay because
yeah,
it's it.
yeah. That's his clay.
yeah. We've seen Zverev. While he is good, sometimes, and as of late, this may not have happened as much, but Zverev is always that guy that he has potential, but sometimes he doesn't live up to it. So,
Yeah.
could we see an opportunity where Rafa fights and win some tie breaks, and
Yeah, I can
you
definitely see
know,
that. If there's anyone to do it, it's Ralph.
Yeah.
If there's anyone you can put your faith in, it's him, and you know he's going to give 110%. So every ball.
yeah, for sure. Definitely, we're looking forward to that. That's when that draw came out. I was shocked, just like, oh my goodness, like this is a match that we would typically see in like the quarters,
Right.
but with
Yeah.
him being unranked, the draw came out, and you land where you land, and so um, it's gonna be interesting to see. Definitely gonna be a fun tournament to watch for sure. We're looking forward to chatting it up with you guys. Follow us on Twitter at TSPJDN. We're going to be talking about tennis as the French Open is going on. So we love the interaction and love talking with you guys about that. Um, final words. This has been fun. This has been fun.
Yeah.
We got to have you back. We got to have you back when
Yes,
Wimbledon
sir.
starts.
For sure. For sure.
You
Yeah,
can be our tennis aficionado.
for sure.
Sounds good. Mhm.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We
Yeah.
appreciate you. Best of luck for this next upcoming season,
Mhm.
and hopefully we'll be able to watch you a few times, but see you play like Monfils out there on the court.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, with that being said, thank you all for watching and listening to this episode of the Talking Sports Podcast. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Peace, y'all.